So I'll show y'all how to finish off the Automoblocks windshield. It comes after you've gotten this part right here. Okay, so we've already shelled out the top, we've got the radius, we've done the fillets, you've used your curves, all of that. If you look at the instructions, it says create the interior wall of the enclosure that will fit into the vehicle body. And you may want to consider the use of an offset work plane in the shell tool. I mean, you're more than welcome to do that. And I'll show you how to use the offset work plane. All right. So what work planes are doing is basically giving us a spot to do drawings. Let me show you all here. Where we see origin, these XY planes, like we've done this, all right, like we've done these, those are called work planes. But you can set work planes in places where we want them to. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an offset work plane. All right. So we want it offset from the bottom here. And the distance that I want it offset, all right, is the distance right here, this 0.670, because we want the sketch to start at the as far away here where it's supposed to be set. So for this offset work plane, I'm going to change this to 0.670. All right, now if y'all see what that's done is it's actually created almost like when we start a new sketch, those XY planes right there. All right, so we are going to start a new sketch, and you need to make sure that this plane, this work plane 1, is selected. All right, and it's right there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to now draw this part down here. I'm going to give it a rectangle. Let's see what our dimensions are. Our dimensions should be, well, of course they gave us a pretty terrible size, but what we're going to do based on the information I'm given here is I'm going to start with a rectangle. Now I'm just going to dimension it based on the information given here. All right, so let me turn this around so it's oriented the same as it is on the instructions. So the leading edge of this should be 0.675 inches from the front right here. All right, the side edge should be 0.290 inches from the edge. All right, this outer edge, according to the dimensions we're given, should be 2.260. All right, and then from the front edge, this should be 2.215. Right, and the place that I got those dimensions are right here. Right, these are baseline dimensions from a particular baseline so that we can measure all of these. Here's the 0.675 that I got. Here's the 2.215. From here to here, there is the 0.290, okay? And from here to here is the 2.260. All right, next is we need to do a fillet. The fillet is going to be 0.15 inches. Once again, this is something that was not included in the instructions but was supposed to be. So I'm just telling it to you. All right. And there we go. We have this created. Now I'm going to show you all how to finish this off according to the instructions here. The use of an offset work plane and the shell tool. Let me show you something else. Is technically this has these little details, these ribbed edges right here. Yeah, you can go in and add those if you want to. I personally don't care. Some people may think, oh no, how could you not do it exactly? But I find that at least making y'all do that is more for the sake of being tedious than it is actually learning how to use the tools. So if you just make this rectangle and fill at the edges, I'm not worried about these little square pieces. All right, so let me show you how to finish it off according to what they say. So to finish the sketch, I now need to extrude, right? This time our extrusion is going to be a little different. We're going to use something different under the extents. Because watch this, if I go a different direction, then even if I do the extrusion, let me get this so I can show you the example. Even if I do the extrusion right here, notice how that won't go all the way to the top, and it also pokes through. So instead of distance, we need to turn it the other direction, and we need to use this here called to next. To next is going to take it to the next drawing that it sees. So if I say to next, see now how it's changed so that it just goes up to where the next solid extrusion is. And I hit OK. The final thing that we're going to do is right here where it says the shell tool. So we need to look at the distance, the thickness of this. I believe this is, if we look at detail B right here, we can see that it's 0.050 thick. So I'm going to use the shell tool. Once again, remove faces, because what that's going to do is take away the face that I click on as well as hollowing it out. The thickness is going to be 0.05. I'm going to click right here and I'm going to say OK. All right. And that is created right there. Now this work plane, just to show y'all over here, I'm going to turn it off so we can't see it. I'll right click here and turn off the visibility. And there is the windshield. Note that there is another way that we could have done this. Okay. And this is what I'm saying is there's always another way with Autodesk. If you had started a new sketch on the bottom of this, you could have still drawn that rectangle. You could have even drawn just the walls, but you could have drawn the rectangle and done the extrusion up top, and then you would have had to have extruded it down below as well. So if you started the sketch right here and drew this, you would have done two separate extrusions on the same sketch. You would have extruded this up and this down. But that's not how the instructions did it. Once again, there's 100 different ways to make this bottom part. It's just whatever worked for you. So like I said, that's the second part of the windshield, and that will complete it.